5 years before the Beatles had their first hit record, four brothers decided to go into the car industry. Bob, Ivor, Trevor and Doug Walklett named their cars after an old girlfriend of Bob's. Ginetta is that name. 40 years later, 34 individual, separately identifiable models, and you have one of the great stories of the car industry. Ginetta's first car, the G2, wasn't a great commercial success. It looked like a Lotus for a start, so it didn't really help the job. But then they brought this out. This is a G4. This is a 1966 car. The production started in 62. Simple car, space frame chassis, fiberglass body. Could be had with a hard top, or it could be convertible, or both. 1500cc Ford engines and 4-speed gearboxes, latterly cross-flow engines, powered the car, which was very, very light. Great racing successes. They also brought out in the early 80s a thing called the G4 Series IV, which was a bit wider, a bit longer and a bit heavier, but it didn't sell. But the real crown jewel in the Ginetta crown, as they say, is this, the Ginetta G12. Now, 1966, and look at this for a shape. Totally modern, totally up to date. A car built solely and specifically for GT racing. True mid-engine specification, twin cam engine in the back here, 1622 cc's, BRM this one's got. 5-speed transaxle in the back there. Lightweight construction, 603 kilos, only 603 kilos, in a lightweight space frame construction, minimalist but very, very beautiful. Fiberglass body shell, and you have the G12. Production went from 1966 to 1967 when a company called Chevron came along and wiped the floor with them, with something much, much better and much, much quicker. Strange little feature down here. See this bulge in the bonnet? This was for a spare tyre, spare wheel and tyre. It had to be there to comply with the regs. They were daft regs and nobody ran with it, but unfortunately the cars went a bit light at high speed. Still do apparently. But Ginetta needed to make some money, round about 67. So what they did, they thought, right, we'll make a car that the public will really like. And they did. So they built this, the G15. Little two-seat coupe, very original, sweet shape. They sold 800 of these. Well, that's the official figure, and it's pretty much to be believed. Again, simplicity. Keynote of all Ginettas is simplicity. Simple platform chassis, steel tubing, square shapes, kicks up at the back and ends up here with, of all things, a Hillman imp engine, 998cc Coventry Climax modified engine. Not a lot of brake horsepower, but enough to power it at some very, very respectable speeds. Little 4-speed gearbox in there. This one's been modified, but overall, as you can see, it's a sweet shape. Just a nice little coupe. Lots of nice touches on these cars. Beautifully integrated bumper down there, look at that. See these are mini window catches. MGB, that's come off. Maurice Ital, if you like. Look again here around the front. Look at this nice wraparound bumper. Look at these lights push back, comply with type approval in actual fact, and it's high enough. The job's proper. Plenty of boot space in there. You could use this every day. Most people who've got them do use them every day. No problem again inside. It's not as cramped as the old G4 over there. Plenty of room in there, plenty of leg room, proper heating and ventilation system. You can't go wrong. So they made money. 800 of these cars, made them a few quid. But when you're Ginetta, you want to go racing. And if you want to go racing, you've got to be a single-seater, haven't you? Well, they did. And we're lucky enough today to have one of only 2 surviving cars from the era when Ginetta went single-seat racing. This is a G17. There should be a G16 sat here, but nobody seems to know what it really looked like. So we come to this, the G17. Desperately rare car. Again, simplicity with Ginetta, their hallmark, their trademark. Simple suspension, simple space frame chassis. Few nice little technical innovations, not bad at all. However, they only made 4, and 2 of those are actually called Ginetta G18s and had Ford engines. This one 998 cc's to get under the 1000cc Formula 4 rule at the time for the series 1969, I think it was. Very, very simple. Get your Hillman Imp engine, get your Hillman Imp transaxle, fit all these bits at the back here, nice Rotaflex couplings as used by Lotus, simple suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes, light, manageable and quick. Sadly, it didn't work that well. Nowadays the cars, well both the cars that they know of, are only used for sprints and hill climbs. This one's beautifully preserved. G18s, nobody knows whether there are any, but they were fitted with Ford engines, the Crossflow Ford, and became what is now known as Formula Ford all the way through. It used to be called Formula Ford 1600. Again, as I say, only 4 cars made, but really sweet, and a great historical piece. Rarity's good. However, we're back again with commercial rearing its ugly head, and Ginetta had to make another car, something to make money. This time they made what is arguably the best Ginetta, certainly in my opinion, the G21. Look at this for a car. It's proper, it's production, it's type approved. Ginetta sold a lot of these cars. Again, a simple chassis, 1725 Sunbeam Rapier whole bay engine. Not a bad little engine in actual fact, bit thirsty. Delorto carburetors, they were very good but they went out of tune. But look at this car, acres of space. It's a true 4-seater. Okay, you've got to be a bit small to get in the back, but you can go anywhere in this. It's just beautifully simple and at the same time practical. It's got all sorts of nice touches. Look at this little recess here in this boot catch. It's just superb. Recognise these? Hillman Imp bonnet hinges. Knockout. Just look at all this gear around here. Again, the simplicity of this wrap round bumper. These nicely recessed lights, well out of the way. Look at that lovely little grille there with the washers in there. Bulge for the carburetors. It's sweet, sweet, sweet all the way through, whichever way you care to look at it. And it still looks modern today. I think it's just glorious, and I would really like one. But they're getting rarer, and they're getting harder to find parts for. But the club will always help you. But it's just a happening car, and it was dead right for the time, and it's dead right today. So there you have it. You've seen 5 cars today, which, to be honest, hardly scratches the surface of the Ginetta story. 34 model names, 40 years continuous production. Where, you might ask, is the G27, the 32, the 28, the 25, the GRS Tour even? I don't know, maybe we could find a bit more space in another programme for them.